Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. And so I know I've met Eileen, Alyssa. I don't think we've met, but my name is Sherry West, and I am the founder and CEO of Live Girl. And we're so thankful that you've agreed to be a mentor for our Live Girl Launchpad program. And if it's okay, we are going to record the session because we have many more mentors who will be involved in the program who just couldn't make this particular time for the training. Is that okay with everyone if we record today's session?
That's fine.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Great. So we're just going to take you through a little bit, give you a little background on the Live Girl Launchpad program. Then you're going to hear from one of our brilliant, amazing mentees, Kelly Taylor. Then Allison will take you through some of the details of how this is going to work. And then finally, we'll answer any questions that you may have. So just to get started, first of all, Live Girl is a nonprofit girls leadership organization, and we serve girls starting in grade 5 and then go all the way through college. Our mission is to build confident, inclusive leaders, and we do that by providing year-round, free of charge leadership development and mentoring programs. All of our programs are evidence-based. We do work with outside evaluators, and all of our programs are proven to build self-esteem, social emotional intelligence, and empathy, which are the building blocks of a confident, inclusive leader. So the Live Girl Launchpad is a new program. We're really excited to get off the ground. And really, to tell you about that, I need to first tell you about our She Works program that Eileen was instrumental in. So this past summer, we launched She Works, which was a career readiness and internship program for high school seniors and college-aged women. And through that program, we provided a robust career readiness training and then matched young women with internships. And Eileen at Refinitiv was one of our amazing employers for that program. During their internships, we actually assigned all of our She Works interns a Live Girl mentor. So these were professional women who checked in with them on a weekly basis, just to make sure that they were set up for success and to answer any questions that they might have during that work experience. So when we got the evaluations back, of course, we found that the program was an incredible success. I mean, all of the impact scores were so high. Looking at things like pre and post program, 97% of the women now feel comfortable networking for their professional development. That increased like 35%. 96% of the women now feel confident speaking up if they have a conflict in a work environment, up like 40%. So our impact stats were tremendous, but also we got really positive feedback on that mentoring component. For a lot of young women, that was actually the most important part of the program, that they had someone to go to when they had questions and to help them navigate through the different situations as they arose. So we then kind of designed the Live Girl Launchpad. So it's an extension of She Works, and what this program is going to be for eligible high schoolers and college students, and it really is intended to level the playing field for young women. We know that a stat that we get from U.S. public high schools is that the average high schooler only gets to spend 38 minutes with their high school counselor, which is certainly not enough time to really address and navigate all the things that high schoolers need to address, everything from confidence issues to exploring colleges and career majors and other career readiness topics. So we are launching the Live Girl Launchpad, which is going to allow these young women to sign up with mentors such as yourself, initially for a 30-minute mentoring session, but then if they find it helpful, they can request that it be a recurring weekly mentoring session, and with the mentor's approval, we'll make that happen. So I'm going to introduce Kelly Taylor because I think what's best is for you here to hear directly from one of our young women and to hear kind of what their experience has been like as a mentee. Hi, Amy. And
I'm so sorry I'm late, guys.
That's okay. And what they're gaining from it. So Amy, I just gave a quick background on Live Girl and kind of the design of Launchpad, and now I'm going to introduce Kelly. So Kelly is a college sophomore. She's been involved with Live Girl for many, many years. She's brilliant and smart and just incredible. She did participate in the She Works program this past summer. She interned with Stacy Tisdale at Mind Money Media, And so she did receive that mentoring that I talked about. So I've asked her to share from a mentee's perspective, just kind of what made that so valuable. And then you can ask her any questions from from a mentoring standpoint. So Kelly, take it away.
So good afternoon, ladies. I do apologize if my audio is a little messed up. I'm on my cell phone right now. I'm currently on campus. I'm a student worker, so I'm multitasking right now. But I'm grateful that all of you are here today on the Zoom call. I'm personally really excited about this Launchpad. I went on the website. I saw all the bios of the mentors. I'm actually very, very excited. And I thank all of you for just taking the time out of your busy schedule to be a part and help the girls. So like Sherry said, I did a She Works program over the summer and I had the best time. I had the amazing mentor. She helped me every step of the way. We met weekly, once a week. If I had questions, she was in the finance department. So for me, I needed help or I wanted to know more about investing, especially in college, especially being a college student. And if I didn't know, or if she didn't know anything, she most definitely did her research, text me throughout the week saying, hey, this is what I found out. Or if she didn't have the answer right there and then next meeting we talked about it. But it was just a great opportunity because I know that someone was there watching over me, looking over me, and thought about me throughout her week and busy day.
Thank you, Kelly, for sharing that perspective. Do any, Eileen or Alyssa or Amy, any questions for Kelly, like kind of from a mentee perspective before we kind of go into the details of the program and how it's going to run?
You know what, Kelly, like how much time would you guys spend weekly? Would it be like a half an hour? Would it be longer than that? Like, what do you think is the optimal time that's kind of helpful without it being too much?
So at first, since it was kind of hard getting to know each other through a cell phone. So at first we talked for like 15 minutes and 20 minutes, and then 20 minutes turned to 30 minutes, and then our last session we talked for over an hour.
Okay, good. Sounds like a good relationship.
That was my question. So thank you. That's helpful as well.
Kelly, one question I'd have is maybe can you just talk about how having that mentor there for you kind of helped build your confidence and kind of, I mean, I know I've heard you talk about how kind of that mentoring kind of helped launch you into greatness. And can you just talk about how just knowing that she was there, that you not always needed her and she didn't always know the answer to your questions, but knowing she was there kind of lifted you up?
So for my mentor, she was in the finance business and my internship was media. And it was kind of finance, but it was more the entertainment side. So that was completely different for her and completely different for me because I'm a computers major. So just explaining her like my, not frustration, but what my experience of going through like this is extremely different. But her encouraged me saying, push on, you got it. Or encouraged me to, do other things. Or even she was personal with me and telling me what she would want to do and have her own business school or teach younger kids. We were getting really intimate in our conversation, but I felt like I can trust her.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Kelly. It's so powerful to hear that directly from you. So with that, Allison, you want to take it away and just talk a little bit more specifically about how Launchpad is going to work?
Sure. So I figured that we would go over a few logistics just so that that's all clear and then get into kind of some tips I have for mentoring for this program. So if that works for everyone, I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen and just to show you the website. One moment, I have my Zoom open. All right. So this is the website that everyone sees when they come to the Live Girl website and look at Launchpad. So here's all the information that you know, and you can send people to sign up as a mentor. So what we've done here is we've created a page with all of the mentors on here. Hopefully it will load so you all can just see what that looks like. So what we've done is we've put everyone on here and then added the areas that you feel comfortable working with girls on. So let's see, there's Eileen, Amy, and then let's see if we can just get to, oh, Alyssa, maybe I already passed you. Oh, yep, there we go. So that's what the girls will look like in terms of when they choose a mentor. And really, we're asking them to be a little bit independent with making their match. But if they aren't sure who to be a mentor with, this form comes to me, and then I'll help them pick a mentor. So how it works is if I wanted a 30-minute with Amy, I would click on Amy, and then I see Amy's availability. And then what happens next I think I have to stop the share to show you the next thing, is that I get a calendar invite. Let me just make sure that that's up. Yeah, here it is. So I get a calendar invite along with the mentee. So what you can see here is that Cecilia has signed up to meet with Caroline next week. So I get this invite, and then what I do is I input the Zoom information and then invite the mentor. So you'll get a calendar invite from me whenever someone has confirmed a session with you. So you'll know ahead of time, you know, which Zoom link to use, and whether and what time you're expected to meet with them. Because although you've all picked 1 hour a week, we don't want you to be, you know, sitting and waiting if no one has signed up for you that week. So you will get that calendar invite. So just be sure to be on the lookout for those. And in terms of connecting with your mentee, it's, you know, through that calendar invite. If you want to email them and just discuss the topic so that you know ahead of time, that's fine. It's completely up to you whether you want to make that connection. Sometimes, you know, mentors don't want that same connection with the mentees where they can be emailing you all the time. So it's up to you whether you want to start that conversation via email. So now just leading into kind of the approach, which is a little bit different for this type of program. Since the girls know what they want help with, but you don't know specifically what they want help with, unless you do have that conversation beforehand, you'll just want to kind of go in with an open mind, and it's okay to take pauses to think. You know, as Kelly mentioned, her mentor did not always have the answers, and that's okay. Something that I really wanted to make clear to all the Launchpad mentors is that even if you don't have what you consider to be a productive conversation, just for that girl to know that there is an adult that listened to her for a half hour and had a conversation with her, whether, even if it has nothing to do with any of the topics, if it's just about like favorite foods, you know, even that still matters, and that girl feels heard. So I just want to be sure that mentors aren't placing any pressure on themselves to make sure that so much is done in a half hour. It's really just about giving the girls the space to speak with you. They are being instructed to have a question ready for you and a clear outline of what they want to speak with you about. However, I do encourage everyone to be mindful and try to meet the girls where they're at. We work with a very wide range of girls. You know, some girls that will sign up, like for example, Cecilia, who was on the calendar invite, and Kelly, both did the She Works program and are very familiar with, you know, the mentee-mentor relationship. While there'll be some girls who have never had a mentee-mentor relationship. So they might be a little bit confused on how to start, or they might be shy or a little bit scared, which is completely normal. So some suggestions that I have there are, you know, really forming for you as the mentor to take on forming that initial part of the meeting. So I would start by introducing yourself and explaining, you know, a quick background, maybe why you're involved with Live Girl or why you were inspired to join Launchpad. And then I would just simply say, please tell me about yourself and what we can work on together today. And that's even an important piece, because even just the tell me about yourself could be something that you work with them on. And for some girls, it may just need to stop there, even if they had another question, because that is such an important piece of something that young women need to learn, is how to even just introduce themselves. So you could even work a half hour on that. But if they don't come in with a specific question, help them narrow down that question so that next time, whether they meet with you or someone else, they have that question ready. So some girls might be ready just to dive right in and be like, okay, I need help with my resume. Here's what it looks like. Share screen. I have 3 pages. Can you help me narrow this down? You know, so some girls might be very ready, and then some girls might be like, well, I really wanted to talk to someone because I'm not sure about a college major. And then that might be all they tell you. And then you say, okay, well, what interests you? And then you just kind of take your own individual approach in helping them narrow that down. And then, so I'm just looking at my list. In terms of like modeling vulnerability in these relationships, that's pretty important, because what we're doing, especially in the virtual space, is difficult. And asking girls to share their problems with us. So we encourage you to share your experiences and your personal stories, as long as they're for the benefit of the mentee. It's completely up to you what you want to choose to share with the mentee and what you do not want to share. So that's completely your call and like how you feel. But I do encourage, certainly some sharing of experiences. Eileen, I think maybe it was you went to college for something completely different than your job. Was that you?
I shared with the interns I had that I had just taken a lot of different jobs and roles, and that you don't need to have such a linear career. And I think they were excited about that.
Yeah, right. That was it. Sorry. So I think even sharing things like that are really important, just to say that like you don't have to have your entire life mapped out by 16, and that things are going to change. So sharing stories like that are really helpful.
That's really helpful for me to hear. So
yeah. And we've had a lot of other, adult women share that with girls, and you can like see like the stress like leave their bodies, where they're like, oh, okay, so it is all right if I, am a bio major in college and then go into finance, like it's possible. So I think it's really important to share those types of stories, and that, and to share like that maybe you didn't have it all figured out and what some of your concerns were at their age. In terms of anything like concerning or outside of your comfort zone, if a girl starts talking about something where you're just like, I can't help you, it's okay to say like, I'm happy to speak with you today, but unfortunately I can't help you with that. I will let Live Girl know that you have this concern, and we'll see what we can do. And then if you could just follow up with me with whatever topic that was. If there's any concerning behavior at all, or if you're worried about someone, please let me know, and I will continue to follow up. And again, like almost all of the girls involved in Launchpad are girls that have worked with Live Girl that I've personally worked with, but there might be one or two girls that, I have not worked with before. So if at any time you feel uncomfortable during the conversation, please just do let me know. And if you need to end the conversation early, you can just say, this is outside the scope of what I committed to with Live Girl. I will have a staff member follow up with you for next steps. It's okay if you do need to end a session early. Instances like that are very rare, but of course we want you all to be prepared. And again, anything concerning like depression, suicidal thoughts, just let me know as soon as possible. Just send me an email, immediately, and I will take care of it. Just because we want to be really mindful that, in these spaces, girls might share things with you that you might not feel equipped to handle. And again, that's fine. But we just want to make sure that like I'm following up with parents or following up with the girls to make sure everything's okay. Okay, I think I just threw a lot at you all. So if anyone has any questions, we can certainly go there. But yeah.
I just wanted to say a couple of things, and then we'll open it for questions.
Oh, sure.
So I just wanted everyone to be clear that we are launching this program next week, but it's a soft launch. So we are kind of going to start to communicate this out in the public domain, but specifically we've invited our high school leadership council and our college interns. We've given them the first shot to sign up for the mentoring appointment. So just so you know, that's most likely like who you're going to get in the first couple of weeks, and then we're going to start after that, after we gain that initial experience, and we'll be looking to get feedback both from you as mentors and the girls as mentees, and tweaking the program as needed. Then we'll do like a broader promotion and launch. And just on that, like we definitely, this is kind of what we do at Live Girl. We innovate programs, but in order to do that, we really need kind of user feedback. So as you go through your first or second mentoring sessions, any thoughts you have on how we can make this program better is truly appreciated. We are in process of like, Allison's going to put together a mentor guideline sheet and everything she just discussed. We're also going to send out like an optional icebreaker activity if you want some extra help in kind of facilitating that first meet and greet. And then I also wanted to mention reoccurring sessions. So we're structuring this program so that girls can initially sign up for one 30-minute mentoring session, but if it's helpful, she can actually request that become a reoccurring meeting. And so then if that happens, we'll send that request to you, and you can either say, yep, I wanna, I really connected with this person and I'm ready to commit kind of time every week to this person. If you approve that, we'll then set that up, but otherwise we'll work with the girl separately to kind of make it a different connection. And then I just do want to share from a Live Girl standpoint right now, as we're kind of running all of our programs in a pandemic, a current theme that we're getting from all of our girls at all age levels is just, resilience, and kind of many of them feeling overwhelmed with the world right now, as we as adults can relate to. And so I just want to say that, you know, for a lot of these girls, what they just need is an adult to say it's going to be okay. And they may not be getting that at home or at school for whatever reason. But we talk a lot about resilience with girls and assuring them that you don't have to feel happy and okay all the time. That's impossible. None of us can feel happy or okay all the time. But resilience is all about having the right feeling at the right time and being able to weather it. And so if they're coming to you and feeling kind of overwhelmed, you know, just helping them break that down about what is it that's making you feel overwhelmed and what can you control, and to focus on what you can control and to focus on positive coping for those feelings. So I will stop there and just open it up and see any questions that you may have as mentors, either for us or for Kelly.
I have a question. Sure. I think that there's a lot of benefit to the girls talking to different mentors. I mean, there's a great benefit to connecting with one person, but even if you do that, there's benefit to talking to a number of women, you know, as Eileen pointed out, so many careers just, they take so many different turns. And unless you talk to different people, you don't see that it's a common theme that people go through. So, but I don't want to add additional pressure. So I just don't know if there's communication to the girls to reach out to numerous people, or just let them decide what they want to do.
So I think that's actually a really good point. And we kind of,
Yeah. Sorry, Sherry.
I would say the program design encourages that, because it really is encouraging just that, and like the kind of the standalone 30-minute appointments, and then they have to actually take another step to request a recurring. But we can definitely add some language in about that, how the part of the benefit of this program is we have this whole roster of incredible professional mentors from different, you know, with different career backgrounds and perspectives, and we encourage them to take advantage of that. So I think that's a great point.
Yeah. And then I just had one other question. It goes back to resilience, and this, I think I was struggling with a little bit in terms of mentorship with my own, how I approach it. I think there's a lot of pressure on young women at this point, Sherry, and you know, it's a different generation. They're going for professional opportunities. It's amazing that Live Girl is providing this opportunity, because they don't know where to turn, but at the same time, they can feel very pressured to be doing things all the time. And I just think there's, you know, striking that balance. Like, what do you think? Should we just get in there and just make sure we're, you know, professional, we follow their lead, I guess. But I also sometimes want them to feel that there is a need for balance to kind of develop that resilience. You can't be going all the time. It's too hard on you as a human being. But I don't know if that's a message that's appropriate for this forum. That's really what I wanted to know.
Sherry, if you don't mind, I would love to chime in here. So Amy, I love that you brought that up, and that's something that Sherry and I have noticed as well, you know, just over the years, that it is all the high school girls especially, and college students are so busy. And I think a way to approach that in Launchpad is to share a personal experience. Like if you feel that that's happening with them, excuse me, I'm getting a cold. You could share that, you know, I was under a lot of pressure a few years ago, and I really learned that, you know, cutting back and thinking about the things that were important to me really made the difference. So I think that's a time where you can, you know, model your vulnerability and say, here's when I struggled and here's what I did, and then they can choose to take that advice. But I mean, but you can put that in terms of a resiliency lesson too, and just say, you know, I think that it would be healthy for you to do X, Y, and Z. And it's of course their choice whether they want to take the advice and act on it. And this is certainly the platform for that. Okay. So, and again, as Sherry mentioned, soft launch, you know, piloting this program. I think that, you know, we're so grateful for all of you for just taking, you know, the chance with us to see how this works. But I think that any lesson that you can bring to them, whether it's personal or professional, will be really meaningful.
Thank you.
So just a quick question. You said launching next week, as in starting next week, we'll have potentially someone will sign up for us to be a mentor, and then we'll get, I want to make sure I understand the sequence, like the email that will, you know, then just schedule for that first meet greet?
Yes. So right when someone signs up, and we should add something to the website that all appointments must be made at least 24 hours in advance. I'll add something about that, because if someone signs up 10 minutes before your before your session, that might not be enough time to coordinate everything. Sorry, I'm just writing this down. So you will hear from me with that calendar invite before your meeting, and so you'll know exactly what time and which Zoom link to use.
And you can just remind me, what's the entirety of the program? Is it a month? Is it 3 months? Or what's the length of time?
I think this first one, we're running it as, what are we doing, Sherry? 8 weeks to start, or 5?
It's either 8 or 10 weeks. We aligned with our fall winter program cycle. So it starts the first week of October. It starts next week and runs through early December. And then, if you're so you provided your office hour per week. If you're unavailable any of those weeks, just let us know and we can block out that week on your calendar. That's not a problem.
And something that we did with Amy was, she was like, well, this, she picked Wednesdays and or I can't remember which days, and then she was like, well, this one won't work for me, so we moved it to a different day that week. So we're flexible with that. And again, if you need to end early, if you can only commit to 5 weeks, that's fine.
Okay, and then, sorry, silly answer, but it's just one mentee that we're each assigned to.
So there's a total of a 1 hour commitment for each week, and girls get half-hour sessions. So there is a chance that you could have 2 girls back to back. And as Sherry mentioned, like if you meet with someone, 1 week and they want to continue meeting with you, we will ask for permission for that. Otherwise, it will be different girls. Each
okay,
time.
got it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I should have paid a little more attention in the reading of it. Okay, so it would be different
that's
people.
totally fine.
I wasn't sure if we were sort of somewhat establishing like a relationship over the 8 to 10 weeks, but the same person could sign up each time.
Yes, exactly. So if somebody wants to have, like, if you really connect with someone and that girl is like, wow, I like really want to work with Eileen more, we'll reach out to you and say, did you feel the same way about this relationship? Are you okay with continuing to work with them? And then we'll schedule.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great. Well, if there's no more questions, then we can end the Zoom. But thank you all so much again for serving as founding mentors for the Live Girl Launchpad program. You can always email us if you think of another question after the Zoom today. And otherwise, Allison will be in touch with scheduling your first mentees, hopefully next week.
Yeah, and if anyone has any questions, you can reach me at allison@goldengrow.org at any time. I'm sure you've received a few emails from me. I know Amy's gotten a ton, so. Thank you everyone so much, and thank you, Kelly, for joining us.
Thank you. Have a good day,
Thank you so
everyone.
much.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.
Bye.